Hi Year 1, it's Mrs Pierce here. Last week we were looking at some 2D shapes. Well, today Mrs Pierce is going to show you some 3D shapes and see if we can recap their names. So 2D shapes, if you remember, we said were special shapes because they were flat, so they were something that might be drawn on the floor, or they might be drawn on the wall or on the side of a 3D object. While 3D shapes are quite different because we can actually pick these up and move them around or walk round them or step over them because they're 3D objects. They're not something that's flat and drawn. It's an object that we can pick up. I wonder if you can remember the name of this 3D shape. It's a round one that we can roll. And it's got some faces. It's got one flat circular face, two flat circular faces, and then it's got another face that goes round all the way round. So this shape has got 3 faces, and it's also got these bits here, look, around here. That's called the edge, an edge of a shape, because we can step and look over the edge. So this has got 1, 2 edges. This shape is called a cylinder. And you can see it hasn't got any corners on it, it's just got some edges and it's got faces. Some of those faces are flat and circular, and some of them go, or one of them goes all the way round. So it's got 3 faces and it's got 2 curved edges. So I'm going to put that one there, that's our cylinder. Looks a little bit like a can of baked beans, doesn't it? Or a mug or a cup of tea. Or a toilet roll. There's lots of things actually that are this shape, so I'm going to put that just there. We've also got this nice round rolly shape as well. What has this one got? It hasn't got any corners, has it, on this shape, and it hasn't got any of these edges that the cylinder has got. So it's got no corners, it's got no edges, and it hasn't got any of these flat faces either, has it? It's just got one round face that goes all the way round. This shape is called a sphere, which is a very tricky one to say, a sphere. So we've got a cylinder and we've got a sphere. So let's leave those 2 there a second. Right, let's have a look at this one. Another quite round shape. It does roll, but it only rolls around in a circle like that, probably because it does have that point on the top, that corner, doesn't it? It does have one flat circular face, just like the cylinder had, and then it's also got one face that goes all the way round, but it gets narrower and narrower, doesn't it, up to a point, up to that corner just there. Looks a little bit like a witch's hat, or it could, if you turned it upside down, it could be an ice cream cone. Lots of different things. That could be a wizard's hat, a cone when you see the roadworks in the street, and this shape is called a cone. We've also got here a cube, and a cube, I wonder if you can spot some of the things that a cube has got. It has got lots of flat faces, hasn't it? It hasn't got any of these round faces like the cylinder or the sphere or the cone, but it has got lots of flat faces. Look, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 flat faces. And what shape can you see on the face of a cube? It's a square shape, isn't it? A cube has 6 square faces. So wherever you turn it, look, it's a square shape on the side. And this shape's also got corners, hasn't it? Which the sphere didn't have, and the cylinder didn't have, and the cone just had 1. I wonder how many corners this cube has got. Shall we count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a cube has got 8 corners. That's much more than a sphere or a cylinder or a cone. Okay, it's got 8 corners, and it's also got lots of edges, hasn't it, that you can step over like this. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 straight edges, and that's a cube. Reminds me of a box or an OXO cube, or a die is the same shape as this, isn't it? So that's a cube. The cube has got straight edges, whereas the cylinder, which also has edges, and the cone that has edges, they've both got curved edges, whereas the cube has got straight edges. So we put that one here. So we've got a cube, a sphere, a cylinder, and a cone. Let's see what else I've got down here. Oh, I've got another one here that's a little bit similar to the cube look. I wonder if you can spot any differences between these two shapes. What can you see? Let's have a look. Wow, this shape has got corners as well, hasn't it? Let's see how many corners it's got and see if it's different to the cube. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's got the same amount of corners actually as the cube. That's the same, that's not different. I wonder if we'll find out what's different about it then, because they don't look the same, do they? Let's see how many edges this shape's got. I know that they're straight, look, all of them are straight like the cube. They're not curved like the cylinder or the cone. So let's see how many they've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's got 12 straight edges like the cube as well. So why is it that's different? It must be the faces, mustn't it? Let's have a little look. Well, it's got 1 flat face, 2 flat faces, 3 flat faces, 4 flat faces, 5 flat faces, 6 flat faces, just like the cube. So how is it different? Well, let's have a look at the flat face that we can see on this shape. Is it the same shape as what you would see on a cube? No, they're rectangular, aren't they? This is a rectangle shape that we can see here. So that means that this shape is different because we have squares on here, whereas on this shape we have rectangular faces. And sometimes you might get square faces on the ends of this shape as well, but you can also have them as rectangular shapes and it will still have the same name. This one is called a cuboid. Let's look what I have now. I have 2 other shapes now that look very, very similar. And I'm sure you've seen these in lots of places before because these are both pyramids, okay? But they don't quite look the same, do they? So let's see if we can investigate these and find out how they're different. I'll move that cube over there. So here we have a pyramid, and on this pyramid it's got all flat faces. Okay, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 triangular faces because they're in the shape of a triangle, look, all the way around the edge, around the sides. And then here on the bottom it has a square face. So that's 5 faces all together. How many corners? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners. So it's got 5 faces, 4 of them are triangular and 1 of them is square, and it's got 5 corners. I wonder how many edges it has. Shall we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's got 8 edges on this shape, and this shape is called a square-based pyramid because a base means something that you sit something on at the bottom, and so this one has a square base at the bottom, so it's a square-based pyramid. let's investigate this one, see what this one might be called then. How many faces does this have? It has 1, 2, 3. 3 triangular faces around, all the way round, and then on the bottom it has another triangular face. So this one has 4 flat triangular faces, whereas the square base pyramid had 5. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 corners, whereas this square base pyramid had 5. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges. And the square base pyramid, I wonder if you can remember, it had 8 straight edges, didn't it? So if this one was called the square base pyramid, what do you think this pyramid might be called? It is called the triangular base pyramid. I bet you probably guessed that already. So we've got lots of different 3D shapes here. We've got the cylinder, we've got the cube, we've got the sphere, we've got the square base pyramid, the triangular base pyramid, the cuboid, and the cone. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different shapes there. Mrs. Pierce is wondering if you could go on a shape hunt around your house, around your garden, and see what different real life shapes objects you can find that are the same shape as these ones that we've looked at today. Because shapes are everywhere, and you could make a big collection of all those things and see if you can see what might be the same or different about them. Another thing that would be really, really lovely if you did, my children, while they've been at home, have been collecting cereal boxes and kitchen rolls and all sorts of different objects that are all different 3D shapes, and they've made models from them. So my little boy has started a rocket, and he's used 3D shapes to do it. So he's used one big box that had Mrs. Pierce's toothbrush in it that she bought, and it's a cuboid shape that he's used. So you can see, look, it's got the rectangular faces on there, hasn't it? Like we said about this cuboid here. And then what shape has my little boy used for the arms? That's right, he's used the same as this shape, which is a cylinder. He's still got to finish some of that off. So he might need a head on the top, and I think he needs some legs on the bottom. So I wonder what shapes he might use for those different parts that he needs to finish off. So maybe you could put one together, and then you could tell your mums and dads or anybody in your house, you could tell them about what those different shapes are and how you know. Okay, take care everybody, bye bye.